Well, hello there, my fellow Doombots, and as we all know, next week will be the release for The Thunderbolts, a movie which, after a bunch of positive reviews I've heard from a bunch of people, I'm really excited for. And because of that, today I want to take a look at where all of the Thunderbolts have been and where they exactly come from, because I am super excited for this movie. But to be honest, I don't really know a heck of a lot about all of these characters. Of course, I know the basic gist, but I found a really dope video from a channel called A Bit of Everything, and I've been following this channel for a hot minute. I found a really dope video that's called Character Recap from everyone appearing in the Thunderbolts. So basically, what this video is supposedly going to do for us is it's going to explain where all of the characters in Thunderbolts have been. I most definitely recommend that you check out the channel that made it, A Bit of Everything. I think this person does a bunch of really dope work. The first one I watched was Tony Stark actually supposed to be Doctor Doom? I thought that this was quite an interesting video part. I really enjoy his content, so most definitely check out A Bit of Everything.
Hello MCU fans! Today we're going to do a quick timeline recap for every major character appearing in the Thunderbolts movie. It is fascinating to see how all of their lives interweave throughout the history of the MCU.
So this one is Red Guardian. You have Taskmaster. This goes from the Ant-Man 2 movie. John Walker from the Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I don't really know where I've seen this lady before. This is Bob, the Sentry. Then we have Bucky Barnes, of course, the Winter Soldier, and here we have Yelena Belova, who was from the movie with Scarlet Widow. So the only people I don't really know where they're from are Bob and Julia Dreyfus, wherever she's playing.
There will be spoilers for pretty much every appearance of these characters, but as long as you're okay with that, then let's dive right in and see what we can find out. Don't forget, we have an April contest running all month long. If you subscribe or leave a comment, you could win a book or a steelbook. Best of luck. And we have a membership option with lots of cool perks, so you might check it out in case you're interested. All right, so basically, we're going to follow all of their histories up to the last point where we see each character appear prior to their appearance in Thunderbolts.
Very interesting.
All right, so we
very
actually
informative.
start all the way back in November of 1943. And by the way, I'm using the dates from the official Marvel Timeline book. So we see Captain America rescuing Bucky from captivity, and in fact, they go on several missions together. However, in the mid-1940s is Bucky's ill-fated mission, where, of course, he falls into the snow below. And
he falls off the train, and then he gets frozen, and I think that Hydra turns him into the Winter Soldier, gives him a bionicle arm. And also, I have to say that that first Captain America movie was it's a really good movie.
Seemingly has died. In fact, on the memorial for Bucky, notice in the lower right-hand corner, it's listed actually 1944, but the timeline book simply says mid-1940s. Nonetheless, he is rescued by the Soviets from his fall into the snow, and ultimately it's Arnim Zola that turns Bucky into the Winter Soldier. As he says, you are to be the new fist of Hydra.
Oh, it was
Hydra.
And in
fact, during the 1950s and 1960s, the Winter Soldier is basically unfrozen.
Damn, this looks so hard. I kind of miss this Winter Soldier look for Bucky, man. This goes so hard.
Used for assassination and then frozen once again. All right, so now we move to the late 1980s, and we see that the parents of Ava Starr, who eventually becomes Ghost, are killed while experimenting on a quantum tunnel. And unfortunately, a very young Ava is doused with those quantum particles and becomes infected. And then
I don't remember any of this. I have to watch Ant-Man 2 again, but I don't think I really want to, because I thought that movie was kind of boring. I don't know why, but I prefer Quantumania over Ant-Man and the Wasp.
Gathered up from the rubble and taken under the care of Bill Foster. So we will follow up with her again later.
Okay.
All right, so now we move to December of 1991.
Does this count?
And granted, this is a what-if episode,
that's what
but
I
it's
mean.
prior to the Nexus point that created the branch. So we're actually learning things about the sacred timeline at this point. And we see that Dreykov is giving an assignment to the Red Guardian.
Red Guardian
says, Dreykov, don't play dumb with me when I'm obviously smarter than you. You want me to go undercover as a data input manager in Ohio? And Dreykov says, well, senior data input manager.
Oh, man.
But anyway, this is the mission that we're going to see.
You want me to go and become data manager?
Red Guardian going on in just a minute during the Black Widow movie.
Thunderbolts.
And we also see that Dreykov is working with an American sleeper agent, the Rook, who has intel on a high-value target. And in fact, we even see him calling a gentleman named Karpov, who is the gentleman who unfreezes the Winter Soldier during the Civil War movie.
Oh, damn.
So
Didn't know
let's
that.
jump to that, December 16th of 1991, when Howard and Maria Stark are killed. So the
Winter Soldier. Spoilers, by the way. That was a dick move from Captain America to not tell Iron Man, Tony Stark about that. That was a dick move. He just lied. He just didn't say that the Winter Soldier shot his mommy and daddy. That was crazy.
Soldier is reactivated and indeed does go off on his mission to kill both Howard and Maria Stark. However, it's worth noting in the What If episode, after the Nexus Point, so after the branch is formed, we do see that Red Guardian doesn't go to Ohio and instead teams up with Bucky. And I bring this up simply because their camaraderie in this What If episode was awesome.
Yeah,
and gives us some
I have not seen the What If because I think that What If most of the time I thought it was not good, or I didn't feel that I had to watch it because it didn't look good to me. I don't like the animation style. Maybe I'll check out this one, but I probably won't. I just want to watch their chemistry in the Thunderbolts. Is the same two actors, by the way?
As to how much fun they're going to be seeing them together in the Thunderbolts movie. All right, so now we jump to summer of 1995, which is the end of the mission that Red Guardian was sent on by Dreykov. So Ohio, 1995, and we see the Red Guardian there with his fake wife, Yelena, and of course, his fake family.
He looks so naked without his big beard. Looks crazy. I'm super used to seeing this actor now, the Red Guardian. I know he's from Stranger Things. I forget his name. But I'm the sheriff. I'm so used to seeing him now with that beard. I cannot imagine him without it. Dave Harbour.
On the left is Yelena, and on the far right is Natasha, a.k.a. Black Widow. So their mission is ending. In fact, he's telling them, remember when I told you that one day we would go on that big adventure? So they have to escape from Ohio, and they head back to meet again with Dreykov. In fact, we see the Red Guardian complaining that he's been there for 3 years. Remember, the mission started at the end of 1991, and now 3 years later, it's finally finishing.
Looks so naked without a
But
beard.
the saddest part is to see that Natasha and Yelena are sent off to the Red Room. This scene was just heartbreaking in the movie. So hard to watch.
That was such a sad way to start the movie. That they go away at the planes. They're like, no, daddy, mommy, no. That was sad. That movie, I wish I would have watched that in a theater. I think it would have hit harder than just watching it on my shitty laptop screen at the time.
Watch. All right, so now we move to the 2000s when we see that Ava, Ghost, is fitted with her containment suit, which she needed that to be able to...
Oh, wait, this is crazy. So he's literally doing chronologically from the beginning to the end from every single character. And then like, how it's convoluting to each other. Bro, I'm just getting it right now. What the heck? This dude is doing this like it's homework, man. It's crazy. That's why I like this dude's channel, because he's doing it on another level, man.
All that quantum energy she was subjected to, and now she's working on missions for S.H.I.E.L.D. And in fact, that explains why during Secret Invasion, they were able to get Ghost's DNA. Totally makes sense when you realize she was working for S.H.I.E.L.D. All right, so now we continue in the 2000s with Black Widow's infamous Budapest...
Bro, this dude even watched Secret Invasion. My guy. I'm glad you're doing it so I don't have to.
Operation. Her goal was to take out Dreykov, but then she realized at the last minute that Dreykov's daughter was there too, but she still went ahead with the mission, caused the explosion, and seemingly killed his daughter, Anatolia. But we will see her back again.
War never changes.
All right, so it is worth mentioning, I know the timeline book just says the 2000s. I think this is 2008 because there's a deleted scene where Natasha talks about her being there for the Budapest mission 8 years ago. And of course, the Black Widow movie takes place in 2016. So just FYI, I do think this is 2008. All right.
Damn. Oh, the chemistry between Cap and Black Widow in the Winter Soldier movie. Damn. That was something that we also didn't get. There was some tension there. I don't think it was really romantically, but if you got two superhumans working on such a close proximity with each other, it's really hard for there not to be any sparks.
So now we move to 2009, where Natasha is explaining to Steve that she encountered the Winter Soldier 5 years ago and was basically shot by him. Of course, that's 5 years prior to the Winter Soldier movie itself, right? Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Winter Soldier movie still has to be one of my top 5 favorite Marvel movies, like an all-time great superhero movie.
And in that movie, Hydra falls, and of course, Bucky returns. And of course, by the end of the movie, he's fighting off that brainwashing. So because Hydra falls, that means Ava no longer has...
The Matrix dude is in here? Because he plays Goliath. Is he the father of Ghosts? Really?
to take care of her, and she returns to Bill Foster. And also we see Bucky visiting that Smithsonian exhibit, that one that said he died in 1944, and he's slowly regaining his mental capacity back again.
Yeah.
All right, so that leads us to spring of 2016, where we see a superhero
Civil War. That was so crazy. Just, looking back at all of the Marvel releases that have led to the Thunderbolts, it is actual insanity. From all the TV shows, from the movies. Damn, we haven't even crossed, like, Avengers Infinity War yet. It's crazy.
war erupting. And of course, it basically all erupted around Bucky. In fact, in that final scene, led to Captain America and Iron Man fighting over what to do about Bucky having killed Iron Man's parents. So yeah, Bucky has definitely been the source of a lot of conflict throughout the MCU. However, by the end of the movie, we see that Bucky begins his therapy in Wakanda as they're seeking to permanently remove the Hydra brainwashing.
We didn't really get any scenes from Bucky in Wakanda. It was more like a post-credit scene where he got a new arm.
Okay, so we continue in the spring and even moving into the summer of 2016 as we see that Yelena is now freed from the mind control that she was put under when she was sent to the Red Room. And in fact, the person that freed her from it is telling her, free the others.
Oh, yeah?
So this really becomes a mission for Yelena to free her sisters from that mind control of Dreykov.
Damn. That was crazy. I gotta rewatch that movie sometime, but... Busy butt.
So as part of that mission...
This is what I was saying. Like, wait, he's so good. He looks so crazy with his beard. I love seeing David Harbour with the beard. It just looks so good on him. He's the Red Guardian.
Free her quote-unquote dad from prison, the Red Guardian. Notice he's bragging about fighting Captain America. We're all wondering exactly why he thinks he fought Captain America. But we also see him looking at this little figurine.
Hey, let me know in the comments down below. Are you ordering the Marvel Legends Red Guardian figure? Because it is looking really good. I don't know about the Yelena figure, but everybody's saying that Florence Pugh is great in the film. But then those Thunderbolt toys are looking better and better every day. I'm staring at their pre-order.
Showing that, yes, he still remembers those glory days and wishes he could bring them back again.
Thunderbolts.
So I love this scene where the quote-unquote family is slowly being reunited. We have Red Guardian with his fake daughter, Yelena, and he's just basically saying, let's just sit. But she's like, oh no, I got some things to say.
Damn. So dope. I cannot wait for their interactions in the Thunderbolts movie. Like, in the trailer, he already looked like a mess. It looked really good.
Me, you were everything. It didn't matter that they were fake. To her, they were her family.
Of course, because you're like a little kid, and then you got two adults who are taking care of you. In your eyes, they're just your parents. They're not like Russian sleeper agents or whatever. So, of course, it would have felt like for real. Like, how can you... Doesn't matter how logical you are to that child, it will still be like, yeah, it's my parents. They take care of me. They give me food. They eat dinner with me. They do stuff with me. He's my father. So yeah, I get that.
He says, the only thing you care about are your stupid glory days.
Damn.
So yeah, we're really seeing this theme of how important it is to the Red Guardian to be a hero again, to be respected. And that will play in the Thunderbolts movie. Yeah. But then he does something so touching. He starts singing the American Pie, which is a song that meant so much to Yelena when she was a little girl. And they start singing it together. Ah, so sweet. So finally, they all sit
I gotta rewatch that scene. That sounds really sweet, though.
Under the table together. Not necessarily one big happy family, but all working together for a common goal. Take down Dreykov. But first, they have to get through Taskmaster.
Oh,
so
I freaking forgot that Taskmaster is in this movie. Even though I think she got treated badly, or I don't know, they did a gender swap thing. I didn't really mind it. I gotta know what this dude says about it, but I didn't really, it was okay. It was fine.
The Taskmaster is actually Anatolia, who wasn't killed in that explosion, but now she has been mind-controlled by Dreykov and is forced to wear the suit, the Taskmaster.
Wait, I freaking missed something. Wait, she was in what explosion? Because, wait, she exploded Dreykov's office and his daughter was there, and so Taskmaster is Dreykov's daughter. Damn, I missed that.
Which, of course, lets her mimic the abilities of anybody she sees. So ultimately, she is also freed from mind control.
So she was also mind controlled. Oh. He even mind controlled his own daughter. This Dreykov dude sucks.
And in fact, it's the former Black Widows that rally around her, along with Yelena, who says, don't worry, we're bringing her with us.
Dope.
So we see Yelena and Red Guardian getting ready to take off with Taskmaster and the former Black Widow agents that have been freed. But first, Natasha has a final message for Yelena. She says he, Dreykov, had widows implanted all over the world.
For a second, I thought it said he had windows implanted all over the world. I was like, huh? What does Microsoft have to do with this?
You should be the one to tell them it's over. So once again, Yelena is being tasked with this mission of freeing the other Black Widow agents still under Dreykov's control. So then finally we see Red Guardian, Yelena.
I love this suit. I think that David Harbour just looks really dope. I'm happy that he found success in the... He already has success. He's a good actor. A bunch of good stuff. But I'm happy that we have him in the MCU because I think he's a great actor and I think he's doing this character great. I love the advertising he's doing with the limo service and all that stuff.
Taskmaster and those Black Widow agents taking off together and flying off into the sunset. And I really do mean sunset because we can now put the final appearance, until Thunderbolts, of course, for two of the main characters.
Okay.
That would be Red Guardian and Taskmaster. The last we've seen them is in June of 2016. Isn't that crazy?
Okay.
It's been that long ago. All right, so now we move to fall of 2016. Really important thing happens during the Homecoming movie. We learn that Avengers Tower has been sold. We sold the tower, and we're relocating to a new facility upstate.
But who
so
bought
of course,
it?
in the Thunderbolts movie, we will learn who bought that tower. Now we move to 2018, and we see that Shuri has finished clearing Bucky's conditioning, so he is free
This is
of
in
the
the
mental
post-credit
control
scene, right?
that was put on him by Hydra. So then we move to spring of 2018, where Ghost goes on the attack, wanting her illness cured once and for all. And we also see that Janet is rescued from the quantum realm, which is a very opportune situation because she is able to give some of the healing particles that she had from being in the quantum realm. She gave them to Ghost to help her start the healing process.
Okay.
However, they weren't able to complete it
Because what happens with her is she like starts vibrating molecularly and then she like goes through walls and that hurts a lot. And that's why she's stealing all the stuff because she doesn't want to have all the pain.
everyone has to split up when the cops arrive, and Ghost ends up taking off with Bill Foster. However, at the end of the Ant-Man and the Wasp movie, we see that Ant-Man has gone into the quantum realm to get healing particles for Ghost. So they were ready to help heal her. But we're going to see that it's going to take a while before she gets those particles. All right, so we also see that in spring of 2018, Yelena continues her mission of trying to free those Black Widow agents. She pins one down and says, "Stop, I'm trying to help you," and gives her the cure. But then they find
it turns out that she's not brainwashed. It was in Hawkeye, right? Yeah, this is so funny. She's just living happily, married with children. And then, who has you under a spell? Why would a Black Widow just be like in a mansion living with a husband and a kid? What are you talking about?
out she actually wasn't under the mind control from Dreykov. She was doing everything of her own will. In fact, she tells them, "I'm doing the thing we're best at. I'm killing for money." So this is a really important line.
Wait. Oh, she was an assassin. Bro, I gotta pay more attention when I watch Marvel stuff.
I think this is the point when Yelena realizes that's all I have left to do. There's nothing more for me in this life but to use my skill
to get money.
Fact, that's why we see her working with Val, but that's coming up. All right. Also, spring of 2018, that's the big battle against Thanos. So Bucky, who of course was already...
The good old days, man. This brings back memories. Line up. Oh, R.I.P. T'Challa. Got Chris Evans as Nomad. Scarlett Johansson looking fit as ever. This is Infinity War. Oh yeah. And then we got Bucky with his new arm looking pretty dope with his gun. With an AK.
In Wakanda, after having been healed, now has a new arm and he's ready to fight. In fact, that arm is very important because Rocket looks at him and says, "How much for the arm?" Of course, he looks down like, "Dude, you're not getting my arm." And he goes, "Oh, I'll get that arm." And we'll see that he does in just a moment. But of course, the ending of the big Infinity War movie resulted in Thanos snapping.
That was so crazy. I remember getting out of the theater and just taking a selfie of my face and I just looked at it, and I just looked like 8 years older. Like that movie took my soul. This is crazy.
Wiping out half the universe, which meant Bucky was blipped, Yelena was blipped,
yes,
and the Ant family, unfortunately, was blipped, leaving Scott trapped in the quantum realm and unable to get those healing particles to Ghost.
So the reason why he was trapped and the reason they found out time travel is actually because Scott Lang was trying to help Ghost. That's actually kind of insane. Did Ghost also get snapped? Is there anything about that in here?
So we can now show that the last appearance of Ghost is May of 2018. But there is something important
Picture
we
is getting
learned
complete.
that happens in between this appearance and the Thunderbolts movie, because there's an interview that Fandango had with all of the actors, and Hannah John Kamen, that plays Ghost, said, I've got this whole different stance as Ghost. She's not vulnerable. She's not shaking. She's not an open nerve of fearing her death. And she added, this is because of the quantum energy that Michelle Pfeiffer's Janet Van Dyne gave Ghost. It's this kind of control, which was this healing, where she's stronger than ever, which is dangerous. So that seems...
Damn, man. This dude is even going for interviews and all that stuff. That sounds like she's in control of her powers. Okay. So the character also has evolved.
Seems to imply that after everyone returned from the blip, they were able to give Ghost those healing particles. I really hope they bring that up in the movie, but that would explain how Ghost is still alive. In fact, I'm going to guess that Ghost was blipped, and that's how she survived up until that point. And speaking of the blip, it's time to move to the fall of 2023 with the Endgame movie, which had the time heist and, of course, the giant battle for Earth, and Bucky himself took part in that. And the end result was not only Hulk bringing everyone back, but, of course, Iron Man snapping his fingers and killing all of Thanos' troops.
R.I.P. the GOAT, RDJ.
So then we see that Yelena returns from the blip, thanks to Hulk's snap, and immediately she asks, can you help me find Natasha? I need to tell her I'm okay. Of course.
Damn, that, oh yeah, and then she goes crazy and she goes on the hunt for Hawkeye because she thinks that Hawkeye is responsible for the death of her sister, and that is kind of true. That was a heavy scene. I just rewatched Endgame, and bro, man, that movie is a straight up masterpiece in my opinion.
She soon gets the bad news that Natasha has died. Also in the fall of 2023, we see that Captain America gives the shield over to Sam. And
well deserved. I think it's better that Sam Wilson has the shield than Bucky Barnes, because Sam Wilson is not a freaking ex-Hydra agent who killed the parents of Tony Stark. Are you insane for wanting him to be Captain America? You guys are tripping. Sam Wilson was the perfect choice, and I am going to stand by it. I thought Captain America Brave New World was freaking dope, and I loved the final 10 minutes. I loved the entire movie. I love Captain America Brave New World. Doesn't matter what all y'all are saying. I'm gonna defend that movie. I like these Marvel movies. Not everything has to be like freaking The Dark Knight, but that movie was good.
That's gonna then kick off the events in spring of 2024 with the Falcon and the Winter Soldier series.
That series was also fun. I enjoyed it, and one of the best things about the show was John Walker, who I hope we're gonna be talking about right now.
Their adventures and misadventures. I mean, one of the things we learn is that Bucky's arm is detachable. Who knew, right? Of course, that's going to come into play with Rocket before long. But also we see that Sam has given up the shield, and then the government immediately gives it over to John Walker, who becomes...
This dude was just literally a soldier doing his job. The people who were hating on John Walker, damn, man. Like, put yourself in his shoes. He was doing the best he could do. He was playing with the cards he was dealt. So, yeah, I have no beef with John Walker.
The new Captain America.
Okay, he did kind of decapitate somebody with a Captain America shield, but let's not talk about that.
Okay. We learn that he was a military hero along with his best friend Lamar.
Medal of Honor.
And here we see him telling Lamar that he plans to take the super soldiers.
This is Wyatt Russell, the son of Kurt Russell. I did not know this at the beginning of the year, but goddamn, I see the resemblance right now. I need another Snake movie, okay? What is it called? Rumble in New York or something? Or a Big Trouble in Little China and the Thing. Nah, I'm sorry. Okay. He's his own man. He's a great actor. I really like Wyatt Russell. Legacy actor.
Serum, and thus John Walker himself becomes a super soldier. Unfortunately, it messes with his head, and when Lamar is killed by the Flag Smashers, he takes his brutal...
Damn, that was crazy, though. If that episode came out this year, we would have seen his head roll because the MCU is a lot more bloodier these days. R.I.P. Gallo. Wink, wink. Oh man, I'm sorry for the spoilers, bro.
Revenge and kills one of them. That results in him being stripped of the title of Captain America, but not
Why? He was doing his job.
long after that. Val swoops right in, saying, "Hey, I've got a plan."
Oh, this is where Val's from. She's from Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
We'll be in touch. And then we see in the summer of 2024 that John Walker does suit back up to help defeat the Flag Smashers, and ultimately he becomes the U.S. agent as Val officially puts him on the payroll.
Okay.
We also see throughout the entire series, but especially by the end, that Bucky is working to clear his ledger, basically to make up for anyone who was impacted by the horrible things he did.
Hey, I'm sorry for killing your entire family. I'm the Winter Soldier, by the way. Bro, I don't know what... if he would really do that, he would get shot in the face. Like, Winter Soldier killed a lot of people.
He was under Hydra mind control. And it looks like he's in a pretty good headspace by the end of the series, because here we see the kids playing with his vibranium arm, and yes, Bucky is actually smiling.
That's kind of cute. That was kind of cute seeing him smile. Look at Bucky, so wholesome. And then you see Rocket Raccoon in, like somewhere in the corner. I'm gonna get that arm.
Vibranium arm, and yes, Bucky is actually smiling. All right, so this is the last time that we saw a U.S. agent before the Thunderbolts movie, so July of 2024. All right, so then we move to December of 2024, and we see that indeed, Yelena has decided to become a paid assassin working with Val. She says, "You're not supposed to be..."
Oh, what? Man, I gotta pay better attention when I'm watching stuff. I 100% did not know that scene happened. Did this happen in Hawkeye? When did this happen? Okay, please, like, put that somewhere in the bottom so I also know that. Okay, like, chew all my food before I eat it, please.
Be bothering me on my holiday time, Valentina. I want a raise.
Damn.
But Valentina says, well, maybe you'd like a shot at the man responsible for your sister.
Bro, did this happen in Hawkeye? What? When did this scene happen? Somebody in the comments down below, please tell me when this scene happened. I'm gonna Google it later, but bro, now the entire Hawkeye interaction with Yelena makes so much more sense because I had no idea that this scene took place. This is actually insane. Bro, I hope that she gets it. This Julia Dreyfus, I don't know what her name is. The lady with the purple hair. Damn,
death.
crazy.
So yeah, she is being hired to now kill Hawkeye. Craziness, right? And in fact, it was Eleanor Bishop, Kate Bishop's mom, that made that call, or maybe even worked with Kingpin to arrange this. So I'm still wondering if Kingpin and Val aren't...
Vanessa, I'm sorry I cannot be with you. I'm cheating on you with the mother of Hawk Girl. She has better hands. That should have been the plot for Daredevil Born Again, man.
Working together as a team. I think that would be so cool if they ultimately reveal that. Nonetheless, Yelena does indeed take off to try to kill Hawkeye. They have some incredible fights.
Yeah.
But in the end...
That show, Hawkeye, was better than I expected it to be. It was not the best thing, but it for sure was a fun watch.
Now realizes it was not Hawkeye's fault and that there was actually nothing he could have done about Natasha's death. So sadly, Yelena walks off, and in fact, we will not see her again until the Thunderbolts movie. So her last appearance was December of 2024.
So we only got 3 left. Okay, who's this character? Please inform me about this lady. She was also in Black Panther?
Now we move to spring of 2025, and we learn that Val is the director of the CIA. It's not clear whether she's been the director all this time, but certainly by this point, she is indeed director, and that's her ex-husband, Everett Ross.
Wait, Everett Ross is her ex-husband? Oh, Val. Busy bee.
And we even see that Val is working with the government to attempt to destabilize Wakanda. The reason is she wants vibranium. So Ross says...
Bro, I don't like this Val character at all. She seems like the type of person responsible for unleashing a murderous dude like the Sentry on New York City. Damn, she's a bad apple for sure.
What if U.S. was the only country in the world with vibranium? And she says, oh, I actually dream about it.
Bro, she's totally psychopath, man. I understand why Everett liked her.
Yeah, you can tell that she is very power hungry.
She's crazy.
And you do wonder if she's been dreaming about adamantium now that that's been discovered. Anyway, this is the last time we see Val before the
I don't want to see her again. The only time I want to see her is when she gets what's coming to her. Okay. It's not good enough if she gets arrested. She's probably just going to get arrested at the end of the show and be like, at the movie and be like, I'll get you next time, Thunderbolts. But she's the real antagonist. Okay. Now I know who this Val person is.
Thunderbolts movie, May of 2025. All right, so now we have to go to December of 2025, the Guardians Holiday Special, because Nebula gives Rocket a gift, Bucky's arm.
So cute.
I'm really curious to see if they pick up on this during the Thunderbolts movie. Supposedly, by the way, this was James Gunn getting revenge for Marvel killing off one of his characters, Gamora, and making him have to deal with that. So he's like, fine, we'll just take Bucky's arm.
Oh, that's so cute. Look at Rocket. He's so happy with Bucky's arm. It's so cute.
So funny. All right, so now we move to April of 2027 for Brave New World.
Sam, I got you. You gotta find the Ark. You gotta find the Fountain of Youth. Sam, it's me, Han Solo. This bit is not working, and it's probably because I am suffocating underneath this doom mask.
Captain America Brave New World, where Ross is telling Sam, I want you, Captain America, to help me rebuild the Avengers.
We got Harrison Ford. Harrison Ford playing Thunderbolt Ross, Red Hulk, in the MCU. It's insane how far we've come. Damn, man. So crazy.
Of course, by the end of the movie, that has not yet happened, and we'll see the ramifications of that in the Thunderbolts movie. And of course, Bucky shows up, pays a visit to Sam. We learn that Bucky is...
This was a good scene, but the scene would have been better if it ended with Bucky being like, hey, I got you some super soldier serum right here. Let's stick this needle up your butt.
said to be a future congressman, so not yet a congressman. I'm really interested to see how that all plays out. And we see
him. He's going to have like political debates in the beginning of Thunderbolts. Yeah, what's that all about?
Off to catch a plane to a campaign fundraiser. So this is the last we see of Bucky before the movie in April of 2027. And I'm just going to put question marks by Bob. Now,
do you think Bob is going to get like some weird flashback that actually he was, I don't know, part of Age of Ultron or something like that? They're going to be like, yeah, actually he was the janitor for Tony Stark. And one time Tony Stark didn't flush a turd. And he tried to fix it. And then a radioactive spider bit him in the butt. And then he turned into the Sentry. You think they're going to do that? Nah, I think it's going to be like a separate flashback scene where you're going to get the gist of the origin of the Sentry. They only make the villains of Spider-Man Tony Stark related. That's how they do it.
Now, in the comics, there is a storyline, which I won't spoil in case it actually ends up being something they use in the movie. But let's just say we may find out that Bob's been around for a lot longer than it seems. Or they
if they do that, that would be insane. I don't think they are going to do the thing that Sentry was there the whole time. That would be too much. People would not get that. That would be kind of crazy if they did that. Bro, thinking about it, I actually want to see it, but I don't think that's going to happen.
Not go with that storyline at all. So I'm just going to use question marks there, and we'll have to wait and see what they do. But look at these dates. Isn't this wild? All the way back to June of 2016 for the last time we saw Red Guardian, and all the way up to April of 2027 for the last time that we've seen Bucky. In fact, speaking of, from a timing standpoint, I think the Thunderbolts will start at least in May of 2027 because they're at this event. We see this poster in the background honoring the fallen heroes of the Battle of New York. That, of course, took place in May of 2012.
Bro, my dude enhancing everything.
So I'm betting this is a 15th anniversary celebration for that battle and the victory, and thus it's May of 2027. So we'll have to wait and see.
Is that Loki's scepter right there? Damn, I am excited for this movie. I'm watching it on Wednesday, and I'm watching it twice in one day. I'm watching it in the morning, and then after that, I'm planning on making a review real quick. Watching it again in the evening. Then I'm planning to do a spoiler talk after I watched it for the second time. And I'm really excited for this movie. And most of all, I'm just super grateful that I'm living in a time that I'm getting 3 Marvel movies in 1 year. Yes, we are winning. Plus, not to forget about Superman. It's gonna be great too.
All right, so there you go. That is what everyone has been up to leading into the Thunderbolts movie. I hope this helped you as much as it helped me. I had forgotten some of these details, so it's
Bro, thank you so much. Thank you so much, my dude. It was a great video.
always fun to lay it all out, to get all the more excited. I've got tickets, and I cannot wait. It is going to be an incredible movie. So don't forget about that April contest. Be a subscriber, leave a comment, win a...
So yeah, once again, a bit of everything, makes great videos. He has like this subscriber thing. Do it, leave a comment, and then you can win something because he's cool like that. And yeah, check out the videos of a bit of everything, because I think that this dude really makes good videos. And that's why I wanted to make a reaction. It was very informative for me. I hope y'all enjoyed it. And if you did not enjoy my commentary, just watch the original video, and then you have to watch it without Doombot there watching with y'all. I don't have anything else to say, but Doombot out, and have yourself a happy Doomsday. Do 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 do.